Oh, it looks like I'm also dropping some frames. I hope I'm not too robotic. All right. Hey guys, I'm Ray and we are streaming blacksmithing related fabrication. Hey Mahalo, welcome to the stream. Thanks for letting me know that the mic was muted. But yeah, hello, welcome to the stream. Hello, everybody. It is an absolute gorgeous day outside. It's a little on the cooler side. It's in the 60s Fahrenheit as opposed to like the 70s, 80s where I wouldn't use my, sweatshirt. I get really cold really easily because I'm kind of a small person. So on Monday, we finished working. No. Today is Wednesday. On Friday, I know what day it is. On Friday, we finished working on our shackles. So we've got two lovely shackles with some hooks attached. I mean, look at that. That looks pretty nice. I was able to kind of get this side a little bit closer to this side. I like this one better than this one, but you know, I mean, I think they look pretty good. They could totally be like earrings or something. I kind of feel like they need to be like this direction though, so I don't hook my clothes or something. They also are a bit on the heavy side, so I probably would not want to actually use these as earrings, but nice shape, right? So that's what we did on Friday, and on Monday, I hid in my basement for most of the time that we would be streaming. On Monday, we had a big, nasty storm, and we had 2 tornado warnings during the time that we would be streaming. So, unfortunately, I decided that it's better to safe than sorry. And so I canceled the stream for Monday. Everything was all right. The storms passed us without much incident. I probably could have still streamed, although I think it would have been a little bit unstable. But no damage overall. It was pretty mild, and the only major thing that happened is my plants decided to like perk up real nice, and my garden has been growing super fast. Most of the seedlings are like this tall now. It's crazy. I am so unfamiliar with how plants grow that it's just like it's kind of interesting. It's kind of crazy. So we have an ad starting in about a minute and a half at this point. Once that ad is done, I'll probably talk a little, I won't probably. I will start talking about our project for today. Dr. Optimal, hello, welcome to the stream. I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I didn't have any damage to anything near me. I have not heard of any major damage throughout the entire area. I had heard that maybe a couple towns over there was a little bit of damage, but I haven't heard anything like really substantial. So we lucked out this year. Last year we had a massive tornado and it flattened an entire neighborhood in St. Louis. So it's really good that that did not happen again this year. We're still reeling from that tornado. How did your anvil get flattened? I don't know. I don't know. And maybe it's this guy over here. So yeah, I brought over the welding table today because we're doing a little bit more on the fabrication side of things. What we are fabricating is definitely related to blacksmithing, but I decided we were going to take a tiny little break from blacksmithing to make a tool that will help us significantly in our future projects. So I'll talk a little bit more about that once we get this ad done and over with. But yeah, so today we will be streaming our normal time. And then Friday, I am postponing that stream to Saturday. So instead of streaming Friday at 1:30, we will be streaming Saturday at 1:30 Central, but that would be 2:30 Eastern. So we will be streaming Saturday at 2:30 Eastern. Hey, Blue Red Metal, welcome. It's an Acme Anvil, isn't it? Yes, yes, it is. Blue Red, thank you so much for that subscription re-up. Thank you so much for your continued support. That is 6 months. Goodness gracious, has it really been that long? I mean, seriously. Every time I see the next stage of people's subscriptions and like their stream streaks, it always is exciting for me because it doesn't feel like it's been that long since I even started streaming to begin with. So thank you so much for your continued support. Thank you so much for that subscription. I am gonna get a drink real fast. And I am glad that you are here as well. Thank you so much. Now I have to find something else to fill my work afternoon on Friday. Unfortunately, yes. We are going to be doing we are postponing the stream one day. And the reason for that is because I will be getting ready, packing my bags, packing up my camping supplies, sticking it up in the van, and we will be driving to the Ozarks on Friday. So Saturday, I will be streaming from the Blacksmith Association of Missouri annual conference. I have a few interviews lined up. I'm not like the first interview I will not happen during the stream, but I will have an edited version of that up on YouTube as soon as possible. Just like our quad state videos, it will be a quad state video, or I mean a BAM video, and then one of these videos like for one of my projects, and then another BAM video. So it'll be alternating BAM videos with our projects that we are doing here, just so that I don't get too terribly behind on these projects. I am planning on doing about 4 or 5 videos on the BAM conference. So, look forward to those. I hope you have an amazing time watching them. I know I'll have an amazing time being there. And we will be doing a live stream from the dealer floor. We will be looking at some of the demonstrators and, talking to some people. So I always look forward to our trips. I hope you guys do as well. Okay. So for today's stream, we are starting a brand new project. This is going to be kind of a compare and contrast sort of thing going on. A lot of you guys have asked me, both on YouTube and here on Twitch, if I had ever considered making a guillotine tool or a blacksmith helper. They're interchangeable names for the same tool, but basically it is a tool that sits in your hardy hole. It holds 2 dies, a bottom and a top die. So you can stick your steel inside in between the 2 dies, hammer it down, and it will do whatever you wanted the dies to do. So it's a very common tool to purchase, and we will be purchasing one version of this tool. The tool that we are purchasing is the Christ-centered Ironworks single guillotine tool, or like single die guillotine tool. We are not doing the C version. They have 3 different versions on Christ-centered Ironworks. There is a single die C, a double die C, and just the regular frame. We are going to be doing the regular frame. It is $60 on their website, relatively reasonable. So we are going to buy that kit and put it together. But before we do that, I am going to design and build my own version of this guillotine tool. So I will be, I do have a set of measurements for the Christ-centered Ironworks version of it. Hey, Sandwich, welcome, 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 and good evening to you as well. So yeah, I do have a set of measurements for the Christ-centered version of this tool, and we're going to kind of use those a little bit as kind of guidelines for how we're going to go about this. However, Christ-centered Ironworks uses 1/4 inch plate, and today we are going to be using 1/2 inch plate. It's mostly because I want it to be really rough and tumble, and like I want it to survive quite a bit of hammering, and I just happen to have a big chunk of 1/2 inch plate. So we are going to be drafting the pieces for that, and we are going to be cutting them out. So I don't think that we will have enough time to weld it together, and I also don't have the step rings to put the UV filter on the close-up cam, so I can't do any welding today. So we will be doing that on Monday for Monday's stream, unless I'm too tired from BAM, and then in which case we will be doing that on a Wednesday. So I can't guarantee that I will be streaming on Monday. I will do my very best, but oftentimes I'm just so tired from the weekend that I just have to skip the Monday. So I'm going to say it's more likely going to be Wednesday of next week for the second half of this, where we weld it all together. Okay. So I don't know if you guys will be able to see this very well, but I'm going to try. It's been a while since I've used the whiteboard, but you know what? That's all right. It's gone through a little bit of hell, but you know, it's in a blacksmith shop. What do you expect, right? Okay. Oh, I'm not wearing my apron. I need to put that on, don't I? Stop falling. Okay. So I'm going to kind of write some stuff down. Our old friend is back. Yes, our old friend. I'm also not wearing my safety glasses right this second. We will once we start working with the actual material. And we'll also be, you know, putting on our headphones and breathing protection when we start using the angle grinder. I actually brought a big old pile. There are 15 cutting discs for the angle grinder because the 1/2 inch sheet eats them so badly. So, all right. So, let me give you guys the website. Okay. So, if you guys are interested in seeing the inspiration for this job that we are doing today, that is the link for it. So if you look that up, you can kind of see what we're trying to do here. All right. So according to their measurements, their dies are made out of blanks that are 2 inches by 5/8 inch by 8 inches, right? It looks like we've got a bot, unfortunately. All right, so this is our main measurement because we want to be able to use the dies, the same dies for both of our guillotine shears, just to see kind of like, to kind of compare them with like a standard set of dies. So the die itself, the die blank, comes in an 8 inch long section. It needs to be cut and ground or whatever to whatever size or type of dies you want. You can create cutting dies, you can create fullering dies, you can create dies that kind of punch things or like cast or like die cast coins and things like that. So what we are going to do is we're going to use those measurements and draft ourselves a raised version on this piece of 1/2 inch steel. Okay. So I lost my tape measure, so we've got a lovely T-square that we're going to start working on or work with. It's not completely a right angle, though. This side's acute and this side's obtuse, so I don't know. We're probably going to use the 2-inch mark to kind of give ourselves a bit of a, you know, a corrected length. Thank you, Mahalo, for banning that bot. Thank you so much. All right. So this piece of steel is thereabouts a foot long in this direction. And it looks like it is 8 3/4 inches high. So we've got plenty of material, especially if we are starting with these measurements right here. Looks like a drafting. Yeah, it is a drafting square. I had to rebuild this thing because it fell completely apart. And it's really neat. Like, you can unscrew this guy and create whatever angles you want, right? But it doesn't go right anymore, like completely. So I kind of got to be a little bit careful. I don't get to use it for right angles. All right. Okay. So if the die is going to be 2 inches wide, that means that I need to leave myself a little bit of extra space on either side so I can weld on the sides of it. Because basically it's going to be 2 rectangular windows that get welded together with a spacer in between. That's fancy. Mine doesn't do that. Yeah, I don't even know where this guy came from. I just found it in my garage one day. I brought it from the Edwardsville house, so I'm not sure if it is the butler's father's or if it was just laying around from the previous owner of that house. But it's pretty fancy. I like it a lot. So I think what we're going to do is make the frame about 4 inches wide, right? Because that doubles the width of the die. So I have the close-up camera focus in on the piece of plate, and I'm hoping that you guys can kind of see me drafting this. I'll do my very, very best to kind of make everything dark enough that you guys can see it. Maybe the elves left it. Instead of making shoes for a cobbler, they leave tools for the smith, right? I feel like every time I move houses, I always find little pleasant surprises. I guess sometimes they're pleasant. Maybe they're not always pleasant. Okay, so if I go to 4 inches wide, that's from this edge to this white mark. I think you guys can probably see that white mark, maybe. Let me know if you can't. So I will put a giant white line there to kind of denote how wide this could be, right? I think, and halfway around that is the width of the die. So 1, 2. Oh wait, that's only 3 inches. I'm not smart sometimes. 1, 2, 3. See, this is why you measure twice and cut once, right? If you find any 10mm sockets, I call. Right? 10mm sockets are always missing. They always go missing. All right. So this is about 4 inches wide, right? So at the halfway point, would be right here at the 2-inch mark, right? So the die is this wide. The whole thing is this wide if we double it. So do we want it to be, I think that's actually a pretty decent width for our tool. And I also believe that that is the width of the tool that Christ-centered has. So I think we're going to keep this. And now we need to decide how tall we want it. So the die is 8 inches tall. And so we want it to be a little bit shorter because we need a little bit of the die to stick out the end of it. So I think we want 1 to 2 inches clearance so that we can hammer the die without hitting the frame, if that makes sense. And if you have any questions about drafting this, or like, you know, my logic, or, you know, if you notice I've said something in error, please correct me. But yeah. So this is probably going to be the majority of what I'm talking about today. But I'm also very willing to, like, you know, change the subject and talk about all kinds of stuff as I'm doing this. I'm just kind of trying to give you a little bit of logic why I do things the way I do them. Okay. So that is 10 inches right there. 10, or that's the 10-inch mark right there, and that is the 6-inch mark. So that is 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches would be right here. All right. Do we want to do, so if I do this over here, you can kind of see where that has gone, and right here is the end of this mark. Do we want to go an extra inch, or is 6 inches? I think 6 inches is a little bit short because that would mean 2 inches are going to be sticking out. So I think we're going to do 7 inches. So we'll do 1 more inch. 1 more inch. And that is almost just a straight line. Okay. So let's see about correcting the tiny angle there. So that should right there. That's not completely correct. So we are going to measure on both sides, you know, measure twice, cut once. So it's right here. Okay. Okay. So if I pick this up like so and kind of tilt it, you guys should be able to see like what I have drawn here. So this is going to be the frame. Both sides here are going to be the frame. So I need 2 of these, like 2 plates like this, because they're going to be sandwiched. I can see the line. Make sure adding the extra inch because of the tool out of square. It's a giant F. It is a giant F. Yeah, I'll have to fix that a little bit. Because, yeah, the tool is out of square. So we're doing our very best to kind of correct that. Okay. There we go. It's a little bit better. I can see it a lot better than you guys will be able to see it. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to give ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. And go to the 10 here this way. of me just wants to like not have to deal with this and just cut this in that direction. But I don't know. We'll kind of see if we do that. All right, and then from here, we want to measure that again. We want that at the 10-inch mark right here. And that's very convenient right there. Six to 10. 6 to 10. Right here. Okay. So now we have two sections, a front and a back, right? So we kind of have, and what we're going to do is we are going to cut 8-inch long pieces of our 5/8-inch stock, right? Because the die is 5 inches deep, right? It's 8 inches long, 4 inches or 2 inches wide, and then 5/8 inches deep. All this is imperial because, you know, both I and Christ Centered are based here in the United States. So unfortunately, I don't have the metric conversions right now, but I mean, I guess I could do them right now. Let's do that. I'm gonna go like this while I am making that conversion. So let's do the metric conversion for this for you guys in Europe, because I try to be inclusive. 5/8 inch 2 millimeters. So according to this, 5/8 inch to millimeters is 15 .875 millimeters. Two inches is 50.8 millimeters. And 8 inches is 203.2. 203. I can read numbers. Okay. So that's kind of, those are the metric measurements for you guys, for those of you who are in Europe or other metric, you know, countries, you know, other than the United States and what is it? I can't remember the other one, but yeah. Okay. So we've got the front plate and the back plate, and we're going to put a piece of 5/8 inch stock in between on either side. So the next thing that we kind of need to figure out is what we want to do for the base. There's also going to be a window that we cut in here, and in order to do that, we are going to be using the drill press to kind of drill holes in here at each of the four corners, and then we're going to open that up into a window so that we can feed the pieces through the machine. My eyeballs aren't calibrated enough to measure 0.2 millimeters. Yeah, I think that's probably the case, but you know what? Math? There's a little bit of like leeway, I think, that you could probably put into this, right? All right. So we need our base to be 4 inches, at least 4 inches wide. We'll get them calibrated. Yes, glasses, you know. Sometimes I need glasses, you know, like when I'm working with like the jewelry stuff, I need like my safety glasses and then an optivisor with like a magnifying glass. It's kind of, you know, a thing. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to be doing is taking this little section of the sheet steel because we have our front and back there. You can kind of see that. We've got one side, two sides, front, back. And then we're going to put down a base, right? Because we've got to have something that welds onto the hardy and holds the dies in place, right? If that makes sense. So we'll probably make something down here. So we probably are going to want it to be at least 4 inches in length. So that's a 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here. And then, ooh, you know what? I thought that this was a right angle right here, but this is not. This is a acute angle. Because if you look at that, that's a lot closer, and this side is a known acute angle. So, interesting. Interesting, interesting. So these are also misaligned. I wonder how we're going to correct that. Oh, okay. So this is a factory edge and this is a factory edge. So if we can get a right angle from here, then we can get our corrections. And we'll get right angles the whole time, the whole way along. That's exciting. Okay. Good to know ahead of time, right? Okay. Should be good like that. This is a little bit boring, I'm sorry. Oh, it's a cute angle. Yes, it is a cute angle. It's adorable. All right, so we have an ad starting in about 1.5 minutes. So yeah. All right, next, we got to figure out how wide we want this, or I guess how tall we want it, I guess. You have a carpenter square, you can almost, or get almost any angle you need. Yeah, I don't have a carpenter square. What I have is 2 of these guys, right? One, or this one, it does the angles, right? You can unhook it and it does all of the angles that I want. The other one is a static one. It's just a T. It's like bolted together. So I might use that in a little bit. I might grab that out just to be sure before I cut these, you know. So how tall do I want this to be? It's going to be 5/8, so we'll give that a whole inch, and then we need, I guess, maybe 2 inches. I think we'll probably go with 2 inches wide. Maybe 2.5. Hello, why are your lines so thick? My lines are so thick so you guys can see them. I just wanted to make sure that you guys could see the lines. When I go to kind of cut them, I will cut in the center of the lines, and the centrifugal force of the angle grinder kind of helps me stay a little bit more steady. So as long as I get that initial like cut at the beginning, relatively straight. I should be able to get a nice straight cut. Okay, that is smart. Thank you. Yes. So I'm trying. All right, so we are in the middle of an ad right now. So I'm gonna pause for a moment, and then we'll kind of like take a little bit of a break. I'll kind of think about this for a minute. Do I want 2 inches or do I want 3 inches wide? If I do, because I could give myself a 1/2 inch border all the way around the base if I did 5 inches by 3 inches, I think. And that would kind of give us a little bit of a flat, so it's not going to be moving around on us. I think I might do that. So that means I need I'm trying to continue that straight line all the way down. One, two, three, four. So we'll go right here. Okay, so it looks like we are done with the ads. So I've decided that we are going to create this base an inch bigger on all sides. So we'll probably have thereabouts a 1/2 inch of on a border on the base. That way maybe it won't tip as much when we are hammering directly on it. So I have continued the line down the plate so I can give myself a even edge to kind of measure down. So we've measured 5 inches for our width. And from there, I really, really hate. Okay, we're going to do it this direction. There's a little knobby here that makes it hard to lay the thing on the surface. I got almost the full period full of ads. Good sign for the channel, I guess. I guess. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then 1, 2, 3. Wait, that's not working. That's not the same length. I am really bad at measuring things, as you guys can probably tell. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're going to go here too. Here. And then 1, 2, 3. Okay. This is why we measure things a lot. Measure twice, cut once, right? Goodness gracious. I'm convinced that this is totally going to be like all kinds of not square and stuff. So, but you know what? That's why we're buying one too, right? That way, if I screw this one up, I will have a good, nice one that I put together from the kit, right? It's okay. You got a welder, right? Okay. So this one right here, bottom, top, back. Or no, bottom, front, back. So BOTFRBACK. Okay. Labeled. All right. So the next thing, I guess I don't really need these labels yet, but I just put them in there just because. Okay. So the next thing that we need to do is make the little window. No need for a ruler that way, right? Because I can weld between the gaps, right? It'll be all right. It'll be all right. Okay, so we need to measure 2 inches into the middle of this 3 inches. And I'm thinking that I don't want the window to be a full, because, okay, so the die blank for the Christ-centered ironworks guillotine tool or blacksmith's helper is 2 inches wide, right? So you cut it in half and you put the bottom die in, and then you slide the top die down, right? So there's that little window where you can put your steel through when you're using that tool, right? So I have to decide how big I want that window to be. So I want to leave probably about 1 inch over the bottom. All right. So we're going to go there. Right here. For the bottom. No, maybe I want more than that. Now that I'm thinking about it. Because this is going to hold the bottom die inside of the machine, right? Probably make it smaller than it is big. Yes, I want to make the window smaller, right? That way the edges are going to guide the die down as I hammer it. Does that make sense? So we'll probably want to do about 1.5 inches on the width. And we'll definitely want some of the window to, we want a window, not like a slit, right? So I think from the bottom to the bottom, or from the bottom of the tool to the bottom of the window, I want 1 inch. And then from the top, maybe we'll do 2 inches from the top. If I do 2 inches, that would put it here. And then if I do that is, okay, so 1, 2, that's 2, 1, 2. Okay, so we do 1.25 inches, 1.25 inches, 1.25 inch. So we're looking at a window about this size. Or I guess, so you can kind of see the window right there. So, is that going to be what I want to see? I think that's about all right. Because we're probably going to cut the die so that we've got 6 inches for the top die and 2 inches for the bottom die. That's usually what I see. So if we got 1 inch from the bottom of the tool to the bottom of the window, then we have a little bit of, or about 1 inch from the bottom of that window for us to put the stock inside. So that should be good. That's 2 inches, so I need that right there. Okay. So theoretically that should work. Okay. Hey Corwin, welcome to the stream. Hello, hello. I'm doing a whole bunch of math and I'm doing a bunch of drafting and I'm not amazingly good at either. So we're kind of struggling a little bit, but we're also, you know, working through it, right? It's always measure twice, cut once, right? So today I am making a guillotine shear or a not a guillotine shear. What am I trying to say? I have a guillotine shear in the other room though. No, it is a guillotine tool or a blacksmith's helper. So we are drafting a pattern for ourselves, and then we're also going to be buying one from Christ Centered, just in case. I'm kind of gonna, or the plan is to kind of compare the two, see which one is going to work for us better. And I'm almost willing to say right now that the Christ-centered tool is going to be better. Here's where CAD, cardboard aided design, can help fit parts. Yes, exactly. You know what? I do have some cardboard. I do have some cardboard. Maybe that's what we need to do. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Remember the other day when we made when we unboxed the refrigerator? I haven't thrown away the box yet, guys. Let's cut off one of these guys and we'll start this again. We'll see about drafting it again. Because, you know, measure twice, cut once. Measure 6 times and end up grinding and welding anyway, right? All right, so as you see, I am cutting away from me. That is the proper way to do this. Don't cut towards yourself. All right, I got a piece of cardboard. It's bigger than our steel. All right, now I don't need this. This is super thick and I should be able to get something a little bit thinner that I can use to kind of do this measurement. Let's see if I can't find a pen. Or maybe I have to get one from in my house. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I know exactly where there is one. So I'm gonna go grab that real fast. Apologies. I should be more organized than this. I will be right back. I will be right back. Okay. Okay. Look, it's a pen. It's okay. We're calling an audible. Okay, cool. You guys can hear me and stuff. Yeah, my cat is all like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Okay. So we're going to make ourselves a little template and we're going to cut this out and kind of fit it together and see how it's going to work. So we've already kind of drafted what I want to see. So let's do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me do this so you guys can kind of see what I'm up to. All right. So now Check out that lovely line. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so then we decided that we wanted it to be 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches. Alrighty. It helps if I remembered, like, you know, what direction has the correct looking stuff on it. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I guess we're just cutting this in half and cutting it in half again. do, do, do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the 10? It's right here. Sorry, I'm just trying to do my measurements real fast. Okay. Okay. And then now we wanted 5 inches by 3 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, two, three, four. We need to measure this direction, and that direction is 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. Okay, so we now have our bottom, one side, two side. That's not cardboard, that is corrugated paper. My sister was always correcting me. I used to work in a factory, and that is made, that made cardboard and corrugated boxes, yes. I've been thinking over a new shed build in my head for a couple days now, and I make myself a model. Making a model is really good. Like, you really should make yourself a model anytime you're doing something crazy like this, right? Okay, so 1 inch at the bottom. You know, it is never a bad thing to cut yourself up a model, you know, a mock-up. That way you kind of know what it's going to look like and how it's going to be for you. And it's going to be the bottom of the window. Okay. And the top of the window is going to be one, 2, 3, 4 inches. Okay. 2, 3, 1, 2. We need three-quarters. That would be 1.5. Oh, no, there. And and 1.5. Okay, cool. All right. So this is our window number 1. Here, let me move it that way. I don't know if you can see this or not, but that's window number 1. So we're going to use window number 1 to kind of give ourselves window number 2. So the next thing that we're going to do is cut this apart. See if we can't do this with this. If not, I've got an X-Acto. Not that far away from here. Ah. It wants to revolt against me. Okay. Front, back. Model making is a skill that is being lost. Everyone just does 3D modeling now. That is very much the truth. I try to do things that are more traditional. I mean, y'all can definitely tell I tend to do the traditional method for a lot of stuff. You know, as I'm a blacksmith and all that. Okay. See if I can push this out. Maybe not. I don't know. Okay. All right, so we got our window, right? So this is what everything's going to look like. And we've got our other one that goes here. I think that actually is going to look pretty nice, you know? And then we are going to have this guy. As the base. So it'll be like this, and then like this. I think that's actually going to look nice. Okay. Let me show you this in the wide. So now that we've got our cardboard model, we've got this and this, right? You can kind of see it. I think that'll actually work pretty darn well. All right, so now we kind of have a template that we're going to be using. And it looks like that side's done. And we're going to do it on this side. And then what did I do with my... I did it. It's right there. Both are good. When you're working with flat parts, it's really easy to make a cardboard copy. It definitely is. Kind of trying to make sure everything is nice and even and stuff. Okay. So now we have our two, like, I guess we have our 3 pieces for this thing. Now, what's going to go in between the two, because, you know, we've got, you know, the front and the back. What's going to go in between there is a piece of 5/8 inch square stock. We use that a lot for our blacksmithing projects here on the stream. So I think that's going to be a really good methodology for this. So we're just going to weld in a couple pieces. Now I do need to make sure, for sure, that the 5/8 inch stock actually is 5/8, because just like wood, sometimes it's not quite exact with its measurements. Or like the stock size isn't quite exactly the true size. So I will make sure that that's the case before I weld those in there. But yeah. So we have a ad starting in about a minute and a half. So once that ad is done, I'm kind of gonna start working on cutting out these pieces. Now that we've got them all nice and marked out. Hey Jack, welcome to the stream. Today we're kind of doing a little bit of fabricating. We are doing, I'm doing my version of a blacksmith helper or a guillotine or tool. And because, I mean, people have been telling me I need one of these since I started streaming. So I really think that making one is going to be a fun project. And then I'm also going to be purchasing one from Christ-Centered Ironworks. I missed that. Nice. I already have a design for your tool, or a design that I'm doing. So I'm kind of copying the Christ-Centered Ironworks design a little bit, right? I'm modifying it a bit. And they use 1/4 inch plate, and I'm using 1/2 inch plate. So I am using a lot of their other measurements, I think. Hey Bluesy, welcome to the stream. Wouldn't it be faster to weld the cardboard since it's already cut out? I mean, probably. It would go up like this, you know? If I started welding on it, it'd just be like fire. But I mean, I haven't had any fire this whole stream, and I feel like maybe some fire is warranted today, right? We're just gonna have to set the forges out for, you know, anyway, because, you know, we're a pyro stream a little bit, just a little bit. to get a good electrical ground on cardboard. Well, you know, we can start by using the plate, right? We'll just start the bead on the plate, and then it'll set the cardboard on fire, and you know, clearly that's gonna be how it's stuck, right? Maybe some JB Weld, yes. I think JB Weld would work pretty well, or you know, like the silicon fiber cloth, or not silicon fiber, but the plexi, not plexi. What is it? It is fiberglass, like the fiberglass cloth. You know, we can even use the cloth to kind of get ourselves a nice like flat surface. You know, we can do it. It's a thing. All right, so we are back from the ad break. So like I said, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to kind of, not kind of, we're going to cut these out, right? So I have all of the measurements and stuff going and whatnot. Did I? Man, I'm a dummy. I'm going to have to do this all over again or something. I forgot to hit record on my camera. That is awesome. Goodness gracious. My bad. If you don't enjoy it, Glenn from GS Tongs has a design I quite like for its simplicity. Yeah, like I said, I've kind of stolen the design from Christ Centered, you know? All right, so I forgot to hit record on my camera, and I need to get some nice shots of this, of us drafting it. And I know that we, you know, I already did all of the drafting, but we're totally gonna like flip this over and do a little bit more. I apologize. I know this is probably a little bit on the boring side, but you know, I forgot, and I don't wanna mess this up for my video, right? Okay, what did I do with my... It's over there. I'm a smart person. I'm a smart person, guys. The ads are vaguely relevant for once. A game named Kiln. Ooh. She's not stolen. It's artistic license. Yes. I mean, I'm not doing the exact same design, right? Earlier in chat, there is a link to the actual design, and I'm not doing it exactly 100%. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna move this so that you guys can see it's nice and in the center. And apologies, I'm gonna redraft this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just so I can get shots of it. Is that the factory edge? And yes, this is the factory edge right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is going to be factory edge. So we are going to right like so. You're just gonna fake it till you make it. Yes. You know it's nice because she's done it thrice. Exactly, guys. Exactly. But like I said, I kind of need to like, get a good version of it that I can, use for my recording and stuff. For YouTube. It's all for YouTube. Okay. One and a half. All right, cool. All right. Now that we have that drafted, the difference between plagiarism and inspiration is intent. One wants someone else's money, the other knows a good idea when they see it. I mean, yes, exactly. I didn't want to have to reinvent the wheel, you know what I mean? So many people have already done this. Okay. So now that I have this drafted on this side and I have some shots of me drafting it, I don't need a lot of shots, just some, right? We're going to cut this apart. And I'm going to change the camera angle. Ow, I keep smashing my finger between the 1/2-inch plate and the table. The table. Okay. All right. It's one of those days, you know? We are going to use the angle grinder to cut these pieces apart. I do want to get a different angle. And then we are also going to be cutting the windows out of here. But we are going to have to use the drill press to drill into each of these corners so that we can kind of stop the angle grinder before it starts making weirdness. So yeah. There's also a chance that the little skinny sections, because of the design of the angle grinder, we may end up having to like chisel those out using the big forge eventually. I'm not entirely sure if that's the case or not. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So there might be a tiny bit of forging here on stream today, but we shall see. Okay, so I have the plate positioned in with one of the line that I want to cut in the gap. So it should give me plenty of space to work. What is going on? Apparently, my phone is blowing up for no reason. What is it? It's Instagram. People are commenting on different things on Instagram. Whoopsie. I hate this one. Okay, let's do it this direction then. Because... Okay. All right, here we go. This is better. I need to get a new set of clamps. All right, so we've clamped this down so it won't jiggle back and forth. And I'm going to be coming at this from this direction. So I'm going to take the camera and stick it over there so that I'm not shooting it with sparks. Okay. Let's stop that. There's a box over there, guys. Okay. Okay, so hopefully this works all right. All right. So these guys, people are trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Exactly. That's totally how it works, too. My car's extended warranty. Okay. All my safety gear. I should be good to go. And we've got an angle grinder right here. So let's see if we can do this. What do you guys think? Can I do this? Pretty sure I can. The worst part about this is that it's a half-inch plate. It wears through the disc, something fierce. So I'm going to have to change another... Whoops. Goodness gracious. I'm going to have to change the disc real fast. Get a nice fresh one on here. That's why I bought 15 of them. So this is going to take the longest all day today, I think. Cutting this apart. All right. Last time they called me, I said, cool, am I getting a car? I don't know if you guys can hear me, but it always makes me wonder when I have to do this. It would just be better if you use the belt, the bandsaw, every time I have to cut half inch cord. But this is just so much more. Alright, did I wear this one out too? Yeah, there's some cracks in that disc. I don't know. Maybe the bandsaw would be better for this. It sure is eating through these guys. And I've got a lot more to go. So I don't know. Maybe I should just use the bandsaw. Or you know what? I don't know. Maybe it would have been better just to like use the half inch like they do. They use half inch. Or I mean quarter inch instead of half inch. Alright, I'm having issues with this guy. Let me change the camera so you guys can watch me struggle. So I don't have a key for this guy. Let me breathe a little bit. So I don't have a key for this guy, and it tends to get stuck on me sometimes. So I am halfway finished with this line. It smells yummy. I don't know. Maybe I won't be able to get this off. All right. Do we need to go across the floor? So there is half plate is a bunch of cutting either way. It is. It definitely is. So I think the reason that they do quarter-inch plate at Christ-centered for their versions of these, I think it's actually, it must be because it's a lot easier to cut half-inch plate, or I mean quarter-inch plate than half-inch. So I don't know. Maybe I should change to quarter-inch plate. I actually have some, but yeah, I don't know. Let's see if I can't get this off by running it across the floor. That is one method of getting this off. I don't know. I don't know if I can get it off. It's not wanting to. I don't know. I might have to ask the butler to get this off, and the butler won't get home in time for us to finish this. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, so is that thing unplugged? It has a dead man switch on it, so we can unplug it if that makes you guys feel better. But yeah, it has a dead man switch on it. I think I'm going to have to get the butler to get this off for me. It does actually. Okay, well, I unplugged it, so we're good. Yeah, I think that I'm going to have to get the butler to get this off for me. It happens occasionally. So what we're going to do is we've got an hour left in our stream. No, do not test the dead man switch by dying, right? No blood on stream, please, especially no half hands. Like, yeah, we're good. No bloods. No bloods. But yeah, this is worn out, so there are some nicks in the edge. And the reason that I turned it off and wanted to get rid of this disc is because it like the nicks in here will actually cause the angle grinder to jump at me. And so I was being safety conscious by trying to change the disc. So, so yeah, we're only halfway cut through this 1/2 inch plate. So I think I'm going to have to come up with a different solution for this. So I think we're going to do a little bit of forging, I think. So I'm going to move this table. We're going to move the anvil back, and then I'll do some forging. Would it help to clamp the pliers in the vise and turn the grinder on it? I don't know. I don't think so. But because these guys, part of the reason why I can't or I want to stop is because I don't want to wreck the pliers either. They are working on a pivot, and I don't want to ruin it. So I don't know. It's also okay. So there is a stop on the end of the grinder right here. And in order to get this, it turns, right, when I move this. So in order to get it to stop, I press the button and then it stops, right? Well, I'm having a lot of trouble keeping my thumb down while moving the disc. So it's more of my, I don't know, the directional I don't know. It's just I'm having trouble with it. I need help. I'm not saying I'm not strong and I'm not capable. I'm just like I got it stuck. So it helps with the butler has a couple of tricks that I can't do because of angles and whatnot. So yeah, I'm gonna think on this a little bit over the next couple of days. And we're going to do a little bit of forging. Those pin spinner nuts are a pain. They are, and sometimes they get like really, normally they don't get stuck, but occasionally they do when you're doing something heavy like this. So next stream, forging a grinder disc removal tool for the vise. I mean, maybe. All right, I'm going to put this there. I'm going to put that there. All right. I need a new set of these clamps. Look at this. How do you clamp something when it's like this? Okay. This one's not as bad, right? You can actually like pull it down and it's not going to move. But that one, this one's a pain in my butt. I just need to get a new set. It's my fault for buying Harbor Freight tools like 10 years ago, Okay. I might actually use the, have the butler help me, and maybe we'll use the bandsaw for this. But yeah, I can't finish it today, unfortunately. I knew that it was going to take at least 2 streams, but you know what? Things always go wrong, and it always takes me a little bit of extra time to do things. So we're going to do our best. All right. This is going out of the way. Whoops. Let's try not to... Oh, that's why we're grabbing on to a cord. All right, let's take that and move it out of the way. And alrighty. Let's do some forging, guys. All the best streamers have a butler. Some of them are male. Come on, you made a start already. Just break it. Maybe. I mean, I could totally. Yeah, I don't think I could actually. I don't think I could. All right. Okay. And let's focus. Okay. Whoa, as I trip. All right. What are we gonna forge today, guys? What are we gonna forge? Let's see. Apologies, I've got some stuff around we can do. What's a good thing I can forge? Sorry, I'm looking for stuff that we can forge. There's a piece of this, and that's a piece of that. I'm gonna grab. I think I'm gonna grab that piece. That works. I know you're all hearing me and stuff. I apologize. I'm looking for something we can forge. You know, we got a whole hour left. All right. I got a piece of 1/4-inch stock. Oh, all right. 1/4-inch stock. We are going to use the mailbox. Not the big forge. We got an ad coming up real soon, so I'm going to start the forge as soon as I possibly can, and then we'll probably use the ad to kind of heat everything up, and then we'll continue working. There's that. Okay. All right. Let's start this guy up. See, I said that we might light up the forge. Okie doke. Now to decide what we're actually going to forge, right? Cardboard forging, let's go! Yeah, exactly. That sounds like a really good thing to forge, right? All right. Really, I apologize that I couldn't get the disc off. We could have continued if I could even get the stupid disc off, but for whatever reason, it's not being happy. Here's one more attempt. See if I can't do it this way. I doubt it, but you never know. Guys. I'm still gonna do a little bit of forging. I turned on the forge already. So, back from the ads, what I did was I took the angle grinder. Here, let me just show you. So I took the angle grinder and I stuck it in the post vise. I pressed the stop and I used the leverage to push it down. And it actually worked. At first I didn't think it was going to though, because it felt like I was ripping the disc. So I was able to get it off, but I'm still gonna do some forging just because I started the forge already. We'll do a little bit more on this, the guillotine tool or the blacksmith's helper. We'll do a little bit more of that on Monday or Wednesday, and we'll finish it off on Friday of next week. So yeah, I was able to manage it, but you know, we're still gonna do a little forging because I want to. It was frustrating and it took a lot of effort, and I don't want to sit here and, you know, grind some more, I guess. So your proposal was 50% great, or at least it included the vice. Yes, you were correct. I will give you credit because your, you know, suggestion of using the vice is why I tried it to begin with. I didn't have any kind of tool to stick in there, but I can just like grab a hold of the disc and get a little bit more leverage that way. That's the exact same thing that would happen if I tried to roll it against the ground. It's just that there was less friction on the edge of the disc, so I was able to hold it with the post vise. So you were correct. I could use the post vise, and I did use the post vise. Using tools to make tools and mend tools. Ingenuity wins. That's the whole thing on blacksmithing. You know, you make the tools that you use to make other things. My family is from mid-Wales. Oh, wow. I mean, most of my family is from here in the U.S. Like, most of the people in my mom's side of the family can actually trace their lineage back to like the Revolutionary War. And before that, it gets a little hazy. It's not like we're Native American or anything, but you know, we've got quite a bit of the last 250 years here in the U.S. All right. I don't know what we're gonna do. What are we gonna do, guys? You want to do like a leaf, or do we want to do a hook, or let's see. What else could we do? There was something that the butler told me they needed, and I can't remember what it was. I think I defeated the Ray's ability to try Welsh. Yeah, I try not to use or like read out other languages these days because I don't know how badly I'm gonna butcher it, and if I butcher it, you know, you never know what I end up saying by mispronouncing something, you know. All right, let's do one of these heats. I'm going to do a little bit of tapering. It could either be, oh, this is like a too big of a pair of tongs for this, so I guess I will grab a different set. Here are my 1/2-inch tongs. All right, that's a nice nose point. So I don't know, maybe we'll make a leaf. That's an easy thing to make. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that sandwich. That's so many letters. It looks like, from my, you know, American eyes, it looks like you just like kind of punched the keyboard a bit, you know, like this thing. You know, you got that like little, what is it, on the piano, you use your fist and you're like, do or whatever. That's what that looks like to me. Because I'm a bit on the ignorant side when it comes to German, but I understand. Well, I guess I don't understand. I've heard that German is all about adding prefixes and suffixes. So it's like a word and then like 3 or 4 prefixes and suffixes, maybe. Well, the other bit of this family are from another place. Contribution assessment ceiling. That is a very strange and long word. I just inhaled some of this. Goodness gracious. Not quite prefixes and suffixes, but simply other words. Oh, so you're smashing words together. Okay. Smashing words together. German is an Agu native language. Yeah, I'm yeah. Out of my depth. Out of my depth on that. Oops. So my sister studied linguistics in college, but her base language was Spanish. So I don't know that she'd be amazingly good at like Welsh and German either. But then again, English is a very German-based language. So I don't know. Maybe she'd be able to figure it out. I always assumed, because people always told me that English was a romance language. And, you know, when I went to like study Latin and Spanish, it made it very confusing for me because those are, you know, Latin is the romance base and then Spanish is actually a romance language. And I was like, this doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem very Englishy to me. Smashing words together is surprisingly and aptly or an apt description. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not amazingly good with languages. I did learn Spanish in college, but it's one of those things where if you don't immerse yourself in the language that you're learning and you don't use it, you kind of lose it. So I occasionally will catch a word or phrase here or there in Spanish, but I can't, or that I recognize, but I can't always figure out what it means. And then I watch a lot of anime in the original Japanese with the subtitles, right? So I feel like I should be able to like start understanding some of that language as well. But I kind of feel like because I'm paying so much attention to the subtitles, I have a lot of trouble catching and figuring out what subtitle word is what I'm hearing, because the languages are not always in the sentence structure isn't always in the same order. English has more Latin influence than German, for example, but I don't think it's classified as a Romantic or Roman language. It really isn't. A lot of people will say it is, but English is not a Romance language. There's so much of the German base in it. I mean, we have stolen words from Romance languages, and so it is a little bit on the deceptive side. But I mean, English steals words from any language that it comes into contact with. It's just how the language is, or at least how the users are. Oh, you know what? I forgot to hit the other thingy thing. Camera angle. I apologize. I've been doing really badly on my cameras today. Super badly. So, I don't know. Apologies. My brain is like elsewhere. Math and drafting and planning for Friday's trip. So I got a email, or so like about a month ago, I emailed all of the artists that are demonstrating at the BAM conference this weekend. And I was kind of trying to set up a good like time that's convenient for them, for us to do like an in-person interview. And I've only actually heard from 2 people that I emailed. I heard from one artist who works at so a reenactment Blacksmith, and then I also heard from the president of BAM. So we have some stuff set up. It's just, I've in my head, I'm just like trying to come up and make sure that like I get more interviews and more stuff for you guys. Japanese, a language with influences from surrounding areas, but is written in kanji, hiragana, katakana, and romanji. Similarly in tone of them, reflecting of the language spoken. Yeah, that's a very difficult language for more Eurocentric speakers, especially because they don't use like the same alphabet characters. Their language, a lot of it. I mean, I guess katakana does a little bit. It's just challenging. a weird off hammer blow right there. Let's heat that back up again. We're making a leaf right now. Kind of not describing it very well. Maybe I should be. I don't know what we're going to do with this leaf, whether we're going to make it into like a keychain or maybe it's going to be part of a hook or something. I don't know. It's been an interesting sort of day, right? An interesting sort of day. So I think today, later on, like after the stream, we're going to start doing a little bit of a test run on the setup that we are going to use for Saturday's stream. I got to figure out like how I want to go about it. We got a capture card, so we should be able to pipe the stream through my laptop with OBS. But I got to figure out what's going to be the best way to get the internet, whether we're using a phone or what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to be using, I have an alternate Twitch channel that I can stream to kind of see like what, or, you know, to test things to kind of make sure that I save my my averages and my ad revenue and stuff. So it's going to be interesting kind of trying to tweak out the bugs and work things so that you guys get a smooth viewing experience on Saturday. So I'm pretty excited about that. Got a couple different methodologies that we could follow, and I'm hoping that one of them works well. If not, I guess we'll just continue using the phones to stream. But I would rather you guys get to see things through like a regular camera, just like we normally do. I would like to keep that quality up there, even through the traveling. Have a good one. Good luck with the trip planning. I've been summoned to work outside. Well, you also have an amazing weekend, Mahalo. I hope to see you later on Saturday. And I will try to do my best, not forget anything. And, you know, we'll have a good time. So have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. Working outside. I need to do some work outside. There's a whole bunch of like viney, leafy, grassy stuff growing into the patches that we have all of our veggies planted in. So I gotta go out there and kind of pluck them all out so they don't take up all of the water and nutrients in the soil. I keep tripping over this cord. We're changing hammers every so often to kind of make sure that we're getting the correct shape what we're looking for in this leaf. Man, I just finished my water. There's a little bit of grit at the bottom. It's probably from the angle grinder. I was spraying sparks that direction, so, you know, there were a few that bound to get inside of my water. Not the most pleasant feeling in the world. So we've got all of our stuff for our Blacksmith helper drafted on, and I'm pretty excited about that. Like I said, the hardest part for this whole project is really cutting apart the plates. Half-inch plate is really difficult to cut through, and that's definitely why I bought a 15-pack of angle grinder discs. Danny Bono's dump truck. I can read. Thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the community. And I hope you're having fun. I know it's a little tiny bit boring, but now we're doing forging stuff. So, you know, that's more exciting for me at least. But yeah, so once we get this tool put together, it's going to be a really amazing addition to the shop. These things are incredible for creating tenons, and what that is like reducing the size of a bar stock to a specific size, and then being able to plug it into a hole, and then on the opposite side you can kind of like make it into a rivet, right? So you know, we've got the tenons that we did with the H over there, and so if we had this tool back then, it would have been so much easier to do. And there's several other things that I'm very much looking forward to using it for. We are going to be doing some gardening tools, and I think it's going to be really exciting, like really useful for bringing down the stock around where the sockets are going to be for the tools, right? Because if you're making a tool like a shovel or a rake, or, you know, whatever, what have you, the tool, you kind of have to have the tool end, and you have to have something to put the handle on. So I think this tool will be really invaluable for making the transition between the socket and the tool itself. It's also going to help us with rivets. It's going to help us with a lot of different stuff. So I'm really looking forward to it. And, you know, if I screw up my version of it, like I said, we are going to be purchasing one from Christ-Centered Ironworks, and that should work pretty well. All we have to do is slot it together and weld it up. We don't have to cut it apart or anything. It comes as a kit. So whether, you know, either one is better, you know, we have yet to figure out. But, you know, I think we have a pretty good chance on either way. So we have an ad starting in about 3 minutes, so I'm going to do another heat on the leaf. We are going to start working on the stem, and hopefully we'll finish before the ad finishes. Couple more heats and I'll probably cut it off, finish out the taper, and then kind of, I don't know, I'll probably turn this into a keychain. So one of the places that I learned a lot of my blacksmithing technique from is the International Metals Museum in Memphis, Tennessee. And the first time I went there, they had a guest artist who was teaching us how to do specific techniques and stuff. And one of the things that they were known for is heat management. And so we had this contest. It was a really cool contest. It was, can you create a leaf in a single heat? And so it was interesting to kind of see how everybody went and approached the leaf in a single heat challenge, right? So a lot of people, they would get it as hot as they possibly could and make the leaf, but then they didn't have enough heat to kind of create a stem. And so, yeah, it was interesting, kind of trying to figure out the best way to go about that and, you know, keep your efficiency up. I didn't do an amazingly good job because that was really early in my blacksmithing, you know, learning experience. But I did learn a lot, and I don't know, maybe I should do that some more. Oh, heat management is what our boss tries to pull off. Yep. Heat management. Keep the heat on. Make sure people are working fast. Or fire management. Is that what we're talking about? Are we firing management? All right, I am out of water. So once this ad starts, I will probably go in the house and grab a juice or a Gatorade, whatever I got cold right now. Wow, apparently we have been having quite a bit of frame dropping today. I apologize for that. Hopefully it hasn't been too bad. All right, I'm gonna go and grab something to drink. All right, so once this ad break is over, I will do my next heat. Like I said, we're going to do a little bit of drawing down on this this stem, and then we'll probably grab the cut off, or like the hot cut, and then we'll finish off by kind of wrapping the vine around the leaf. Maybe we'll do some decorations for this leaf too. I don't normally decorate my leaf very well. I tend to forget about the decorations. It's more about the technique and getting the shape down. But I should probably, decorate it a little bit too. Cool this bar down in some water. So yeah. So on Friday, I am postponing the stream until Saturday. So we will be canceling the stream for Friday. We will be back here, well, not here, but back on the channel at 2:30 Eastern, same time as normal. And we will be in the Ozarks at the Blacksmith Association of Missouri annual conference. So we will be checking out the tailgate sales, some of the demonstrators. We'll kind of see what all is happening, see if we can't talk to some vendors and some artists, fellow blacksmiths, and see what we can do there. So that should be about an hour stream somewhere in there. And the rest of that week, I will be making more videos for the YouTube channel. They will be edited and posted up on my YouTube for your enjoyment over the next several weeks. I will probably do an on again, off again kind of thing, where it is 1 week we're going to do a BAM video. The next week we're going to be doing a video from here in the shop, and we'll kind of alternate them. And we should have a pretty good time, and we'll have lots of stuff and lots of content for you guys over the next couple of weeks. So I'm really looking forward to our trip. And yeah, Friday I'm gonna spend packing and getting all of the camping gear and camera gear all packed up into the van. Super exciting. And then when I should be back on Sunday afternoon. I may be a little bit too exhausted for Monday stream, and if that's the case, then we will be back on Wednesday. We will be back 100% on Wednesday. I'm kind of gonna give it about a 25 to 30% chance that we will be streaming on Monday. I will try to post something on Monday for you guys to see. I just don't know that I'll be able to be live. It's just very exhausting for me to travel. So I do my best, though. We will definitely be back on Wednesday. Gonna do a couple more heats on this leaf, and we'll probably raid off after that. I definitely want to decorate this leaf a bit. And we're also going to be doing a little bit of scrolling. So I think that if I had been able to get the disc off, I think we probably could have gotten at least one of our cuts completely done. I think we probably could have gotten 2 done, but I don't know that we would have been able to get all of our cuts done. So I'm thinking, while I originally anticipated this project was going to take us 2 streams, I think it might take us 3. Cutting the half-inch, it's been a really long time since I've cut half-inch plate, and I guess I forgot how long it actually takes. So apologies for, starting something and then not finishing it, but we're gonna get through it. We'll definitely get it done. And we're also going to be doing a Christ-centered kit and compare the 2 designs. Who wore it better style? It's most likely Christ-centered, So we're going to try and take the corners off of this vine, and then we're going to turn it around and work on making the leaf a little bit more decorated. Let me grab out some chisels. Here's one. We'll use this guy. Probably be using a different set of tongs. Let me do that real fast. I'll grab these tongs. one of our chisels we did a couple weeks ago. I think it was closer to like February. We made a set of chisels. So this is one of them. We're going to make some veining on our leaf with this guy. Kind of see him a little bit. Do I have a piece of wood anywhere besides my anvil stand? Here's a piece. That'll work. So we're going to use this piece of wood and this ball peen hammer to kind of shape that leaf a little bit. It's going to burn in there. Got a nice shape on there. There we go. A little bit more life. You can also do that with a swage block. That way you don't have to worry about all of the ash and the smell of the wood burning. So yeah. It was really pretty though, all of the flames shooting up beside the leaf when we burned that through. So yeah, I think we'll do 1 or 2 more heats so that we can get a little bit of a scroll on our stem. And then from there, I'll probably raid off to another streamer. So, well, I think we're going to do about 2 more heats. Yep. So after we do our guillotine tool or blacksmith helper, I'm thinking that we're going to do a few pieces or like a few gardening tools. I also want to do a set of wolf jaw tongs for doing a few more animals, but I just don't think, I think I'd rather do the gardening tools first. I need a few things for the garden that we're making, you know. I need like a little rake and a hoe and like some weed pullers and stuff like that. So I'm planning on doing a few different types of tools. Mahalo sent me a link for something like a tool that picks up big logs and like moves them around. It's kind of got like a little jaw. We might make one of those things. And there's a lot of really interesting like gardening tools or like, you know, yard work tools that we'll probably take a look at making. So if you've got a favorite that you want to see, please do shout it out in the project suggestion channel on my Discord, or, you know, in chat too. Like I said, we're probably going to do a couple more heats. Or a heat at least. So yeah, we're getting there. Let's grab these guys. These guys will work real well. Probably be our last to second to the last heat on this leaf. We'll see what we can do with it. Well, that's not working the way I wanted it to, right? Interesting. I don't know. We'll probably do one more heat just to kind of see if I can't fix that a little bit, and then we'll probably be done. If I can't get it to work the way I want it to. Kind of weirdly moved. I don't know. But yeah, one more heat and we'll be good. Okay. I don't know. That did not work the way I wanted it to. I kind of got like a weird knot going. I think it'll be alright though. I think I'm going to end it for now. I don't know. It's a little bit awkward. Not what I wanted it to do. But I think that's all I'm going to be able to get it to do for the moment. So I think I'll end off the stream. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I did drop that. I did. I don't know. It's all weird and stuff. I don't know what I did here. You as well, Sandwich. Have a wonderful rest of your day. So there that is. I don't know. It's a weird knot. I'm not thrilled with that. All right, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Let's see who we're gonna raid off to. Thank you, Tuping. Who do we got? Let's go with Mr. Boombody. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope to see you guys on Saturday when we are in the Ozarks. And if not, I'll see you for sure on Wednesday. Thank you guys so much. Bye.